Welcome, lost soul. Please, tell me your name. I see. This world is dangerous. Mythical beasts capable of magic are rampant. But, as a trained hunter of these dangerous creatures, you are even more so. Tell me, in what discipline are you trained in? Your years of studying the arcane arts have made you closely attuned with magic. Your familiarity with it may prove useful.
Ugh, the snowfall's picking up again. It's getting tougher to walk. What about you? You keeping up? Hey, Snowdrift, you're staring off at nothing. Now's not the time. I'm sure you were. Be careful. We can't afford to let our minds linger right now.
Against the icy landscape, two figures stand amongst the barren trees and sparse brush, you and your companion. The falling snow outlines both of your heavy garments, simultaneously giving you a distinctive glow whilst also blending into the scenery. The surrounding forest is silent, its every aspect seemingly in hibernation for the grueling winter season.
At least the wind is dying down, alluding to the end of this damn storm. Hopefully. Think all this menial trudging is worth it? By the time we find this mark, we'll be too exhausted to kill it.
His name is Leave, a hired hand like yourself who specializes in eradicating monsters. Together you've traveled across many a dangerous road and pioneered even more. For years you have been beside this gruff, stalwart soul. Today, the two of you are hunting in the dangerous forest surrounding the humble village of Rhymewich. Since the beginning of this year's hoarfrost, those who venture in have mysteriously disappeared, and a powerful dark magic has been sensed lingering in the snow. Leave grips the hilt of his axe tightly. That blade has ended the lives of countless magical beasts. The chinks and dents are familiar, both in the weapon and the shivering monster hunter who carries it. Intimately so. Partners in trade, partners in love. Yet, as time and rust stains even the most expertly forged craft, so too do relationships bend and creak with the waxing and waning of the moon.
The fiend's most likely hunkered down. If it hasn't, we risk getting lost in this storm. We should return to the village. Our plan didn't account for this weather. Purposeful wandering to lure the man-eater out is one thing, but whilst in a terrible storm is another. Reason, at long last. Of course, had it managed to hit you earlier, we wouldn't be in this debacle, now would we? Desperate? I'm realistic. We're in dire need of good pay, but the scrap that innkeep is giving us isn't worth the frostbite. You should learn to follow my example. Quite more than you. If you desire to squabble, Do so with our actual enemy. Otherwise, silence your blathering.
Lev turns from you, returning to his toil through the storm. Is this what love has become? A meager mockery of what used to be? Its echo has become unrecognizable, hushed by the frigid snow. In another life you'd chase after him. But this is not that sugar-glazed reality. Lev disappears from your gaze, his footsteps quickly erased by the falling snow. Nothing ventured was ever gained. Your prized hunter's no exception. You'll make true on your word, with leave or without. Your feet feel heavier, and your heart sits on the edge of being frozen. When did your relationship come to this, so full of silence and animosity? Casting your eyes downwards, the wind blasts against your chilled face and sends shivers down your spine. You feel cold to your very bone marrow. Cold and a creeping emptiness that blights your soul, and emptiness that whispers. A frost has coated Lev's heart, and you fear it will never thaw. When you open your eyes, an unfamiliar sight greets you. A large cave looms before you, icicles like teeth hanging down its opening. Inside is pitch black. You don't recall seeing a cave as you walked this direction. Something so large surely wouldn't have gone unnoticed. But there is a bigger concern on your mind. Where has Lev gone? You call out to Lev, your hoarse voice echoing throughout the forest. Nothing calls back. In fact, as you stand alone, the world seems significantly more silent than usual. You look back at the cave. The first word that comes to your mind is uninviting. The second, however, is shelter. It may not be the village, but it offers a brief repose. Stumbling, you enter the cave. Inside is sanctuary from the vicious biting of the wind and burning of the snow. Your shoulders immediately sag in exhaustion, and you rub your burning eyes. The cave is still cold, but it is far better shelter than that of the stripped trees. Dormant magic lies close to the ground, slowly floating about like a thick fog. It is gentle in this drowsy state, tumbling around freely. It has been sculpted into spells repeatedly, perhaps by a beast or a talented mage. Regardless, it belongs to an individual, one that has spent much time within these walls. The walls are as frigid as the ice outside, yet your tired body can no longer bear its own weight. Your legs numb, you sink down to the uneven ground. The snowflakes cling to your clothing, some beginning to melt from your body heat. The fatigue reaches your eyelids, and in bitter solace, you allow yourself to rest. You move about the shallow cave, studying what you can. Though currently barren, there are subtle signs that someone, or something, had made a home here. The walls are as frigid as the ice outside, yet your tired body can no longer bear its own weight. Your legs numb, you sink down to the uneven ground. The snowflakes cling to your clothing, some beginning to melt from your body heat. The fatigue reaches your eyelids, and in bitter solace, you allow yourself to rest. A smouldering fire and a jug of ale is far more enticing than the sickly maw of the cave. You continue onwards, cold as you are. As you march, the snow and wind pick up once more. Roaring like a terrible chimera, the weather hinders your advance. Visibility rapidly drops, and soon the world is a misty white. You are stumbling now. The hand in front of your face is a vague outline. The wind's yelling has escalated into screaming.
Who are you?
You jolt. That certainly wasn't the wind.
Where are you?
Your lover, perhaps. Or a lost farmhand. Worse yet, a bandit attempting to lure out prey. Trekking into the unending swirl, the shadow of the voice materializes at last. Obscured by the snow squall, you watch as the voice's owner stumbles through the snow. The familiar flapping of the long coat and string of curses rising out of their mouth. It must be Leave. He appears to have lost his sense of direction in the storm, moving about disorientedly. The mysterious shadow swiftly moves, and there is only darkness. Trekking into the unending swirl, the shadow of the voice materializes at last.
Ah, Snowdrift! Is that you?
He appears to have lost his sense of direction in the storm, moving about disorientedly. You raise out your voice, hoping it can be heard against the all-encompassing storm. Liev appears to have heard it, moving towards you. Yet, as he does, another shadow, spindly yet still humanoid, takes shape behind him. You stop in your tracks as the figure appears to grow in size. The mysterious shadow swiftly moves, and there is only darkness. Silently, you begin to move towards Liev.
Fine.
The pair of you close your eyes and inhale simultaneously, a common tactic to employ in times like these. You hold the wintry breath in your lungs, then allow it to rush forth. As unpleasant as the thin air is, it resets your mind nonetheless. When you open your eyes, there is no Liev behind you. Your tandem exercise has been abandoned. Along with Liev's disappearance, the blizzard has grown more intense, sending the branches above your head thrashing and raving in the wind's mad darts. You yell out to your partner, but the effort is futile. The raging storm drowns out your voice. Your feet feel heavier, and your heart sits on the edge of being frozen. You call out. Stumbling, you enter the cave. dormant magic. You have felled many a villain with your feats of strength and athleticism. You may have yet another battle to win.
Ugh. Snowfall's picking up again. Hey, Snowdrift, you're staring off at nothing. Now's not the time.
Against the icy landscape.
Hey, Snowdrift. Your loving spirit is soulless as ever.
Against the icy landscape, two figures stand amongst the barren trees and sparse brush, you and your companion. The chinks and dents are familiar, both in the weapon and the shivering monster hunter who carries it. Intimately so.
If you're so impatient, nab a few frost rodents and see if they'll fetch a price in Rhymewich. Our plan didn't account for this weather. Purposeful wandering to lure the man-eater out is one thing, but whilst in a terrible storm is another. Yes, we've lacked that recently, haven't we? Or you have. I'm not fighting. We're not fighting.
Liv pulls at his scarf, refusing to meet your gaze.
Let's get going. We've wasted enough time shivering for nothing.
Liv turns from you, returning to his toil through the storm. Is this what love has become? A meager mockery of what used to be? There is no reason. You look back. Stumbling, you enter the cave. You move about the shallow cave, studying what you can. A dagger or short sword was used here, scarring where the blade cut. Whether done out of frustration or an act of self-preservation remains unseen. The walls are as frigid as the ice outside, yet your tired body can no longer bear its own weight.
I'm not fighting. We're not fighting. Fine. Oi! Where are you going? Away from... Fine! Throw your childish tantrum. See if I care when you flounder into danger.
He says naught else as he leaves, assumingly to return to Rhymewich. Is this what love has become? A meager mockery of what used to be?
Wait. Alone? Do you have a death wish? Fine.
He says naught else as he leaves, assumingly to return to Rhymewich. Is this what love has become? A meager mockery of what used to be?
Or... I'm not... quite more than you. Puerile name-calling aside, have you forgotten the sandstorms we faced in the sleeping sands? Or the crippling humidity in the Pandorian jungles? To rephrase you, don't be an idiot. It's only severe weather. I'm not fighting. We're not fighting.
You yell out to your... You call out to... Stumbling, you enter... Dormant man...
Down. Exactly. What use is it dying here? I prefer to perish in a warm bed. Maybe with some ale. Our plan didn't account for this weather. Purposeful wandering to lure the man-eater out is one thing, but whilst in a terrible storm is another. Reason at long last. I'm not fighting.
You yell out. You look back at a smoldering, trekking in. You raise up your voice. The mysterious shadow swiftly moves.